Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. The Philadelphia Fusion just won our first match of the day with a 3-1 victory over the Boston Uprising. And guys, it's kind of insane to even think about that because Boston has not lost a match since March. So Philadelphia, they got to be feeling really good about themselves to start off the stage as they're trying to make this playoff push. Coming up next, we have the NYXL going up against the Florida Mayhem. Now, we all know New York, they've already locked their spot in the playoffs. They can pretty much lose every game this stage, and they're in the playoffs. But the Florida Mayhem, this is a team that is still struggling to find themselves, find their identity, find their momentum. But something tells me that this might be the meta where they can do that. Also, you know, Sabe will be popped off about being the best tracer in the world and all that. Well, how will he fare in this Brigitte meta? I'm ready to find out. You guys ready to find that out too? All right, well, let's go ahead and get this thing rolling and send on over to Puckett and the crew at the desk.
Thank you so much, Malik. That's right. We got Crumbs, we've got Sideshow, and of course, I'm your host, Puckett. It's time to get into the second match of the day, and we got the best team in the league. It's your Stage 3 and Stage 2 champions, the NYXL, returning to face off against the Florida Mayhem. And we just saw the number 2 team, Boston, fall here in the new meta. So, Josh, what are you excited about here in this new matchup? Is Florida going to be vulnerable at all?
Well, I think for the end,
New York.
yeah, New York. I think New York are the kind of team that really do their preparation, so they will know what the best compositions to run are in this patch. But I feel like they're trendsetters. They feel like they're so far above the league. I feel like they might just come out with something brand new and force other people to adapt to them. In some sense, I feel like they set the meta for the rest of the league. Everybody was playing slow. We had this Jonak syndrome of all the Zen players trying to play like him. So if they come out with something or they refine a strategy that works really well for them, we could see all the rest of the team still playing catch-up to New York.
The problem with replicating what New York is doing to the meta is that you would of course expect the team that has top 3 in every single role to be in stage finals every single time, and that's what they are. They've got players in every category that you would say are the best, or if not top 3, and one of those is Libero. I think that this guy is going to be so instrumental in their victories in stage 4 that he will be the guy to watch out for, because remember, Pharah, Junkrat, Widowmaker, even the Hanzos right now, a guy that can play all of those at the highest level. You don't really have other teams that can do that, let alone teams that can exploit that.
And you've got to think, he's playing alongside Sabiobi for most of the time, who has been pretty much a Tracer one-trick. He has played other heroes like the Widowmaker, sure, but in general, he has been, as he said, the best Tracer in the world. And so if you're not able to play Tracer in this patch as effectively, Libero's got to fill in the slack for that. And so it's a great thing for this team.
He's never failed to do that.
So far, yeah, we'll see how he fares.
Ridiculous DPS. The question is, what will they be running for New York today? But before we get to the games, we want to reflect real quick. New York has been to every single stage championship. They fell short in stage 1, but they're coming in with wins in stage 2 and now stage 3. We got a chance to catch up with SBB and the rest of the crew to talk about the big win after their last match.
This is it. Hex is all we've all been waiting for. Undefeated in stage 3. Boston Uprising going up against the reigning champs. You couldn't ask for a better final.
예전에 보스탄에 졌을 때 그 이후로 진짜 일을 많이 갈았거든요. 진짜 복수하고 싶어가지고. 그래서 지금 복수해가지고 지금 엄청 좋아요.
New York Excel defend their title. They are the stage 2 and 3 champions of the Overwatch League.
보스턴을 꺾은 거에 대해서는 정말 기분 좋고요.
This next substitution is a bit of a surprise to me.
Yes.
Pine's coming in for Libero.
The big boss is back.
힘겹게 이긴 감이 없지 않아 있는 것 같았어요.
텐션이 다 올라가 있어서 흥분한 상태였는데 이제 마지막에 그 텐션을 다시 낮추고 수비를 잘 했던 것 같아요.
New York defends their title as officially the best team in Overwatch.
스테이지에서 세별병이 그 인터뷰하고 있을 때 저는 뒤에서 다리가 후들후들거려가지고
자기가 무게를 못 견디지.
무슨 소리야?
그 좀 발로 디뎠는데 버틸 수 있었는데 다리가 후들거려가지고 그냥 뒤로 넘어졌어요.
너무 기뻐서.
너무 기뻐서.
너무 기뻐서.
너무 기뻐서.
I think we all saw Jonak push him, right? That's what happened, Pine. Definitely.
That makes me like Jonak even more.
He's a cold-blooded killer in and out of the game. He's just
No
murdered
mercy.
New York is the best team in the game, and you heard him talk about the confidence. It wasn't necessarily what was happening in the game, it was their mentality that comes in. But when you look at their play in the game, what do these guys show? Because it's obviously ridiculously raw talent, but the teamwork is the one thing that no one has seemed to be able to best.
It's meticulously punishing the mistakes that other players make. So obviously New York are not a perfect team and they do make mistakes. And when it happens, they will just draw back and try not to have more of it bleed out. Whereas when other teams make a mistake, they're not that good at that. And every opportunity that you give, New York just goes right in, takes it, and it's as if the mistake never happened. They turn it in their own favor. That's what they're really good at.
We've already seen one upset today. Let's tell the upset story once again. We got Florida Mayhem, who isn't in the season playoff run, but they are playing for a spot in the Stage 4 playoffs. How can they get the upset today against the #1 team?
I think the thing that they've got to be looking for is Sire player, right? It's got to be this guy. He's stepped up so much when it comes to the Widowmaker, and he's had an excellent performance. He really could be considered the best Widowmaker in the Overwatch League. His other heroes are pretty good as well. He's got a great McCree on him. He can also play the Tracer, but Widow is going to be still pretty important in this meta overall. And he is particularly great at taking the Widowmaker v Widowmaker duels. Yes, Libero has this incredible hero pool, but Sire player, when it goes head-to-head, I think is fantastic.
But what's even more exciting about this match today is that while Saya player is the way that Florida can make a comeback, and he is almost without a doubt the best Widowmaker in the league, he has yet to play one opponent, and that is Pine. Saya player has never faced off against Pine, and today, if the matchup can be decided one-sidedly, you could say that one of these is without a doubt the best Widowmaker.
Do you guys want to see the big boss versus Saya player today? I'd like to see some Widow v Widow. Let's see if we can get that going. It's time to bring out the squads. Are you ready? Make some noise. It's time to meet the #1 team, the New York XL. The best Tracer in the game, leading the charge. It's Sabiobi, and right behind him, you've got the other greats. This squad has been on top since the very beginning. They slipped up just once in Stage 3, and they're looking to close out this season with a perfect run.
Mako is not slipping with those brand new kicks. I mean, those things will weigh you down like Bren weighs me down. Thank you.
Well, that's why they took them off. That's why Pine only had his socks on the stage.
I like it. I like it. Different footwear for different folks. Let's talk about the greatest strength of this team in the new meta, though, Josh. What is it going to be? Have you seen any scrims?
No, I haven't, not of the NYXL, but with Zenyatta still being such a mainstay in the composition so far, I think it's safe to say that Jonak will be continuing his reign on that. Give him the Brigitte rally as well, and you've got like a 400 health Jonak running around, absolutely slaying everybody. That must be the scariest thing in the entire league. But there is still this question of if New York are going to play the Brigitte, who is going to play it? They don't really have a second off tank.
SBB.
Is it Sabiobi? That would be a massive jump outside of his hero pool to play like a tank healer hybrid.
Bridget doesn't take a lot of skill.
Okay.
It's pretty straightforward to hit. The cooldowns are very quick, and
You're
heal.
disrespecting her, and you won't pronounce her name properly.
I stand by my statement.
Brigitte and I are upset with you, Crumbs. It's time to move along, though, as we bring out the opponents. Please give it up for the Florida Mayhem. The Mayhem have done all kinds of different roster swaps. They've been trying new things. Today they're going back to their old main tank. Swoosh back in instead of Awesome Guy. And I'm wondering, is today the day we see Zappis in the lineup for Florida? It doesn't look like he'll be in the starting 6.
It could be. This could also be a case of what Philly was doing, which is you have the players that didn't finish Stage 3 practicing already for Stage 4, and they will come in a little bit more prepared into this patch. However, it could also just be a fact of comfort. You've got your synergy. You understand that right now communication is very important when it comes to utilizing these ultimates. So I think that's why Florida has gone back to their OG 6.
Yeah, NYXL are fighting for this first seed in the playoffs, but these guys are fighting for their jobs in Season 2 as well. Expansion teams happening, new people coming in. It really is, though. The Florida Mayhem are in that kind of position. But I want to look at Swoosh here. I think the reason he's been brought in is to play the Reinhardt, surprisingly, actually, because he was never known as a Reinhardt, but more so than Awesome Guy. And so what I want to see is, are the NYXL going to be playing that Rein? They pretty much never played it. They almost never played Rein or Zarya. So are we going to see a very lopsided system of compositions where NYXL are still playing dive into Swoosh and Manatin on that Rein Zarya?
You know, NYXL is playing Junkenfar all the way.
All day long.
All day long.
What is Sabiobi playing?
Bridget, Tracer.
Yeah, mad composition.
Florida coming in as the underdogs. Will they be able to pull off the second upset of the day? It's time to find out. Bringing you the action, we got the great ones. It's Monty and Doa.
Yes, that's right. Wayne Gretzky and us, the great ones. You got it, Puckett. That's absolutely true, guys. New York Excelsior, perhaps a group of great people as well.
I like to think of myself as the Wayne Gretzky of casting.
There you go. I will also be the Wayne Gretzky of casting too, you know. You miss every shot you don't take. That's, you know, often attributed to Abraham Lincoln, but it was, in fact, the late, great Wayne. Well, no, he's not late.
He's not dead.
No, he's still around. Sorry to alarm any Wayne Gretzky fans out there. Well, guys, it's going to be Florida Mayhem versus New York. This has already gone way off the rails.
One time last year, I was talking to Doa, and he said to me, without any irony, it's going to be really sad when Frank Sinatra dies. And I just looked at
I did not say that.
Yes, he did.
Maybe I can't remember. I can't remember. But then again, I can't remember what happened in the matchup yesterday. So let's move right along. We're going to go to Kings Row, guys. Home of Wayne Gretzky. No, I'm just kidding. It's somewhere in Canada, probably.
Yeah.
I don't know. I actually don't know where he's from.
He's from Canada.
If you're watching this, Wayne, tweet at me. At GG Doa. Let me know.
Doa here with all of the Wayne Gretzky facts.
That's right. It's my secret Twitter account, actually, at Wayne Gretzky Facts. That's going to be created within 5 minutes now. Well, guys, it's certainly going to be a tricky match for Florida Mayhem based on results so far, but you know what? Like we've been saying all along this week, it's a new meta, it's a new time, and it's time to practice. It's time to sort of get prepared for the long off season. We'll see that, you know,
play jump rope.
It's good to stick together as a family, you know. That is true. No doubt about it.
So Meko on the Brigitte right now. We'll see if he is going to stick to that. The answer is no. Question is, will Libero be playing the double sniper? Yesterday and today, we've seen a lot of this double sniper run all the way through Kings Row on attack, where we used to only see it on point A.
That's right.
Teams are opting to go for a little longer, but we're not going to see any of those Graviton combos that we saw in our first match today. Meko on the Diva.
Yep. And Libero's been a Hanzo player for a long, long time. If you've kind of followed him in Korea, you've seen him on that pick pretty much every meta. He's never afraid to bring that one out.
Well, he's also part of the team. Meta Athena was part of the team that invented double sniper attack on this map. True. So he is the OG Hanzo attack here on Kings Row.
Yep. Not a lot of people that can claim to be an OG Hanzo master, but Libero's definitely one of them. Ooh, takes a concussion mine to the face, has to back away, but he's getting that healing from Arc, though. And Sebesai takes one to the face, or several, actually, since it is Scatter Arrow. And now Florida Mayhem getting pushed off a little bit, but Logix responds with a pick onto Sabielby. New York approaching the point slowly, but maybe now with one onto Vic. Nah, they lost their tanks already. Have to be careful here.
Libero just keeps picking him up, Doa. And Arc also, watch that Valkyrie percentage, because they were just building up Valk charge by having Libero come in, peek, and then get healed up. And with Zebasai dying first, I mean, there's not going to be a great way for the Mayhem to push back in.
That's just a slow, methodical push from NYXL off the back of that Hanzo from Libero, and that's going to be a point A take.
I really think after the tanks died, like you said, Doa, they were expecting Libero to back off, but instead he picks up another couple of kills, and then they have respawn advantage, making it easy. So NYXL playing aggressively with their Hanzo, and they are going to be rewarded.
Yeah, I don't think after they killed the tanks that Zupa was expecting Libero to just walk out and kill him. It's like,
I don't think he was either.
Most teams would pull back in that situation. Sabiel will be taking out Logix early. We'll see if Florida's able to get Zebasai over for the res. Yep, there it is, coming through. Riptire coming in from Tvik. And New York scattering. It's going up. Takes a sleeping Diva out of the suit. Meko demeched. De-lifed as well. So New York will have to back off for a moment anyway.
Yeah, nice job with the Riptire from Tvik. Now they've got both of the support ultimates up on the side of the Florida Mayhem. And Manitin may be the target of this nano boost here. Dragon Strike is ready from Libero.
Yep, he's just waiting with that scatter arrow. I'm gonna take out the Venom Mine instead. Punch the air. Just practice, keep those arms limber. They get a little bit tense holding that bow back for so long, you know?
I'm curious what New York is trying to do here, because they've just been spamming out for a while, not trying to make any aggressive plays, and they've allowed Manitin and Swoosh to get their ultimates.
Sabiel will be knocked low under the payload, gets away with the grapple though. They did get the kill onto Libero. New York pushed back, but they're building those ults like you're saying.
I don't know what they're waiting for. It's a lot of poke wars, but they've allowed the Florida Mayhem to get back into this game in terms of ult economy. Manhattan going to be sitting here with a grab. No Zarya charge, though.
All right, another pick on the Logics, but the res is going to come in immediately. Now the self-destruct goes through. Does he catch anyone? He does catch Logics. Meanwhile, Libero throws that Dragon Strike through and gets Zupa as well. Now New York deciding it's time to break out of the spawn here on B. Swoosh taken out by Sable B, and that should be about it. Yeah, Janus just beating everybody down, and now New York should be able to get some distance on that payload.
So I guess they were waiting for the pick to occur from Sabilby,
right.
and then they go in during the resurrection, throw in the Diva Bomb as well for good measure. Have to use a lot of ults to do that. Arc still with the Valkyrie, and Zupe, the only ultimate up on the side of the Florida Mayhem, and without a charged Zarya, it's going to be tricky to use this effectively.
So Tvix switches over to the Brigitte, actually, which since they're going to have to fight on point C or at the very end of point B, you're going to be able to get up close and personal with that shield bash, so it might work out.
Certainly might also, because they're seeing that Winston, they're going to be pretty confident in it. This probably will facilitate a change. Manhattan is going to be nano boosted.
Meanwhile, Valkyrie from Arc, Manhattan has that nano boost, like you said, building up. That ultimate doesn't quite get it, though. They do push New York back just briefly, but already Janus is going deep, harassing the back line. Now Manhattan comes in. He has that Graviton Surge ready, gonna go ahead and use it right at the end there. Libero in trouble, gets some healing, though. He's gonna actually live. Meko not demeched either. Libero takes out Tvik with the Scatter Arrow, and that could not really have gotten much worse for Florida.
No, and the nano boost was used when they had no charge on the Zarya, so even though they got the Graviton out of it, they didn't have the biggest.
That was unaided.
That was a huge Dragon Strike.
Yeah, unaided triple kill with the Dragon Strike. Just the right place at the right time, and nobody could escape.
Well, New York herded them all into that corner and just let the Dragon Strike finish them off.
You don't want to be in the corner against the Dragon Strike. It does not end well.
Nothing changing here for the NYXL. They are going to continue to play into Tvik's Brigitte with the Diva and with the Winston.
Well, that Scatter Arrow dangerous to deal with if you are that Brigitte in that little area. They're trying to counter Libero again with Logic's Widowmaker, still trying to find those picks, but hasn't really worked out too much. New York still pushing through.
Yeah, John is way in the back right now. He's dropping his shield, trying to just zone out this Widowmaker. Notice how he drops that bubble so that Logix can't get the sight line.
Another Scatter Arrow takes out Zephyr. Meanwhile, Janus with the Primal Rage, pushing everybody back. He's got Zupa in a little room on his own. That's not where you want to be against the Primal Rage. He does get hit with the Sleep Dart, though, when it comes off a cooldown, so Zupa will escape, well, almost escape with his life before another Scatter Arrow comes in. Hey, guys, it's Scatter Arrow.
I mean, Janus did such a good job right there. He jumped into the back line and cut off the Widowmaker line of sight with the bubble. That allowed the two snipers to really open up this battle for the NYXL.
Wow. And so that's going to be NYXL cruising to 3 points on the King's Row attack off the back of Libero, and many, many arrows splitting into many, many other arrows.
Indeed. NYXL makes a decent time with a shade under 2 minutes remaining in that time bank, and now the Florida Mayhem will run their attack, and we'll see if they can finish this map and send us into that time bank.
Yep, is correct. I was looking at a highlight from that earlier match, or earlier round rather, that we just saw.
I see Sabilby with Logix, and this is taking a look at this dive right here that comes into the back line, and you'll notice that they also set up the self-destruct right there to create the zone. It also makes it so Swoosh had to turn around to block the self-destruct, which means he couldn't be in the front line to follow up on the grab.
Took a lot of damage from the rest of New York that was coming in with the payload.
Yeah, a really nice play by New York. It did take them a while to set that one up. They seemed rather reluctant to engage through that choke point, but when it finally went through, ended up being quite clean.
That was really the only place, too, that Florida slowed them down, and their attack just held them there for about a minute or two. And that was it. New York just kind of crushing through the rest of it. And Logix, I mean, when you just got res, you can't get away from that self-destruct, and that was kind of the plan all along. So, New York on the defense now. Looks like they're going to go with Libero on the Junkrat this time around.
Yeah, not a surprise. Standard defense from King's Row. Going back to previous stages when we saw this map, so nobody going to try anything funny. Logix, I don't know if he's going to stay on that Zarya. Certainly could run the same style of double sniper.
I believe we've seen Logix run the Zarya before once in a while, so there is precedent for that too. But no Brigitte, actually. They're going to go with the triple tank, it looks like, unless they swap last minute here.
So they have a lot of healing from the Ana.
No, they will swap.
And from the Mercy. No, they are going to swap, and actually Zupe is going to be playing Junkrat. So, and a Bastion here for Tvik. So, something certainly unexpected. They're going to set up a hard point here with their own Orisa and then protect Tvik as he fires into the point.
Yep, that's right. Diva's there to eat a bunch of the Junkrat damage coming in. Swoosh's shield should last long enough. Doing a bit of damage. There's Jonak early. Logix finds a pick. New York kind of scattered a bit, not expecting this one and just trying to scramble to react. Florida on the point already. It's a good start.
Yeah, but they're not really putting pressure on it. Manitin was on the side, but now they slowly move up. However, this may give Jonak time to come back.
Oh, Zupa gets Libero as well. Zupa on the Junkrat. Yes, I did say that right. Gets Libero and Arc, actually. So Florida kind of crushing point A here. Riptire coming in. Zupa looking to finish this one off. Does get the D-Mech, I believe. Yep, onto Meko. And that should be it for A. Florida with a stellar attack here. Totally catching New York off guard.
Smart strategy, and they isolated the Zenyatta. Jonak on the opposite side of the point. There was no way for him to go behind the hotel with the rest of his team. He is the first pick up. There is no res possibility. And then they slowly move up onto the point. New York really struggling to remove them. And Florida looking to set a quick time here in the streets phase if they can.
So far, so good. Now they've swapped again. Swoosh on the Reinhardt here. Pick on the Zarya. Jonak getting a little bit of revenge. He's like, all right, I know I died first last fight, but this time it's your turn, Logix.
Start to walk up on him now. Tvik over on the Zarya, starting to get some charge. Zebasai already the Valkyrie. Same with Arc, though, and Valkyrie is going to be used first by the Mayhem.
Yep, that's right. Going in early with that Mercy ultimate, just trying to get some more distance on the payload. Covering Logix as he pushes forward here. Logix looks like he's going to go for a flank here. Perhaps off the, there's Saviel gets chased away by Meko, but not soon enough. Meko usually so good at protecting his DPS, but not this time. Libero, though, comes in with the double kill and the Riptire. And New York right back in it again. Zupa gets rezzed. Florida, though, has to retreat for the moment.
Oh, this is going to be tough, too. Swoosh gets staggered late, and there's going to be a follow-up Earth Shatter to create even more delays here for the Florida Mayhem.
Yeah, there was a Zarya shield there that I believe saved Tvik, but they lost both supports, so that wasn't a fight that Mayhem was going to win by any stretch.
Tvik gets chased down in the end anyway, waiting for his respawn now. About 30, 40 seconds taken off the clock as a result of that fight, and now NY has the enviable defensive position of playing around this choke. This is exactly where you want to be.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's kind of two places on streets on Kings Road where you can hold. This place and then at the very end. Obviously, this place is more ideal. Self-destruct comes in. Tvik's got his shield. He's going to be able to survive it. On the Zarya, Libero not so lucky, though. Logix finds him after he's chased out into the open by that ultimate. Saviel gets Logix, though, in the Widow v Widow. Now Transcendence coming in to try to counter the grab. The bigger bang does catch Janus, though. Can't trance your allies out of that one. Janus rezzed immediately. Meanwhile, Swoosh coming in, trying to make something happen on the Reinhardt.
And the problem, though, if you're Florida, is that you used 3 ults, Shatter, Self-Destruct, and your Graviton, all for those kills. So you didn't get as much as you would have liked in the end.
Moving, though.
Payload is moving, but everyone from New York is around this corner. They had time to respawn, so it doesn't get as much movement for that kind of commitment.
Yeah, and Arc is going to have Valkyrie, so they have parity sort of in terms of the healing support ultimates. Zupa's going to have to get a lot of that nano boost and see who he decides to put that on.
Look at this. Sabiel will be coming around the side, trying to get a snipe here onto the Ana.
Yep. Chased away, though. Got hit with the bio grenade from Zupa. Libero down, though. Swoosh caught him with a fire strike.
Shatter.
Yep, Shatter comes in. Janus doesn't look like he got a whole lot out of it, though. Tvik comes in with the nano boost now. Janus trying to escape. Barely does not quite do it. Oh, yeah, he actually does get out. Thought he was dead for sure. Now the Transcendence comes in from Jonak. They got it just in time. Florida trying to battle their way through this support ult, but it's not easy. They lost Saviel. Now they lose Janus. Manitin coming up big with those finishing blows. D-Max Meko as well, and the damage from Tvik helps Manitin grab a couple final blows and helps him grab point B.
And also Zupe with the critical sleep dart onto Janus. Janus now moving over to the Winston by really knocking down that Reinhardt. It opened up a take here on the point as they chased down everybody else. Used the bio grenade on the Reinhardt on the ground and then finished him off instantly.
Yeah. All right, Florida with a good amount of ultimates here. They've got the Graviton Surge and the Self-Destruct again. On the New York side, they should have the Riptire now. Yep, that's right. Have the Infra Sight soon as well. Here comes the Riptire from Libero. See if he can get a couple people and end this push here.
Waiting on this one for the time being.
Yep.
Trying to chase everybody out. Logix will get the snipe.
I mean, even just the tire being out on the field, though, pushed Florida back. It did buy New York a little bit of time.
No one can hide from my
Manitin was actually trying to finish off Libero during the Riptire. He's lucky he didn't die as New York went back and collapsed on him. Did escape, and that was eaten.
Oh, yeah, that grab went nowhere, man. Neko was ready for it. Tavik, unfortunately for Florida, wasting that ultimate. Self-destruct coming in. Manitin ducks for cover. Nobody else really caught from that on the Florida side, it looks like. Now Janus in the back lines. He's a bit split off from his team. Has to jump back. And Florida advancing back towards the payload. Vic still building up towards another grab. He's nearly halfway there already. Oh, that's a bigger shatter coming in from Swoosh. Can they capitalize, though? It's going to be tough. Savielby and Libero come back and counter with damage of their own. And Tavik, despite the kill on Libero, it's only going to be Swoosh left on the payload. Zupa not living too long either. It's going to be a hold for New York, and now Florida with less time in the time bank, even if they do manage to finish.
And that shatter was good from Florida Doa, but the grenade, the biotic grenade on top of it was even better. Caught both of the tanks, made sure that the tanks went down, but Florida just didn't have enough people left over to capitalize and continue that push. Now they're trying to play into an Infrasight. This is going to delay Florida Mayhem even further.
Yep.
Seb will be holding on to it for the time being, trying to drain as much time as he can before they have to walk out into the open, and he can really take advantage of it.
It's going to be the Winston for Swoosh now, too. Swapping off the Reinhardt for the very last part of point C here on Kings Row. Florida trying to equalize. Libero says no with this Riptire. We'll see what he gets. Out of it, it does push Florida back again. Did he get the DMAC? Yes, he did on the Manitin.
This hold is ridiculous from New York. So they have the Infrasight, they have the Riptire, and they have the Primal Rage. They've sequenced their ults. Janus goes in first, then the Riptire comes out, and they still have an Infrasight for a final approach here from the Florida Mayhem. Florida have not been able to get anywhere near this payload as a result of New York's smart play.
And now New York is also going to have both support ultimates, too. Valkyrie up for Arc, Jonak nearing his Transcendence. So 2 more ults you can stagger to try to hold even longer. 35 seconds to go for Florida. If something's going to happen, it has to happen now.
Sabiel will use the Infrasight as well, so he's keeping them hidden behind the card for the time being. Not as much of a delay as he would have liked, though.
All right, grab comes in from New York. Oh no, the self-destruct not where it needed to be, though, and now the support ultimate's used for New York as they charge back in again. Florida trying to turn it around, but the engage kind of lacking a little bit there.
It was a one-man grab onto a Zed that had Transcendence. You hate to see that because now the ults have already been used. Florida still pushing in, however, using that Trans, but New York's going to get back to the payload.
That's right. They scattered New York a little bit, but now they're kind of gathering together again. The support outs are down, though. Libero brings the Riptire out, gets Swoosh with it. That's a big one. Florida can't get to the payload, and map 1 goes to NYXL.
That was such a good hold at the end by the Excelsior, rather. Yeah. I mean, you talk about these guys. In stage 1, they were the best team in the Overwatch League, and you said, okay, what is their weakness? Maybe it's their ult economy isn't as strong as it could be, but you look at holds like that and you say, wow, these guys are on point.
Absolutely. Here's the reason they're the best team in the league, showing it again on the first map here in this series. Map number 2 coming up right after this.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League. T-Mobile, America's fastest network ever. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
is a monster. There's no other way to say it. We're going to be saying it a lot today.
Getting very, very close now, and that's self-destructing thrown in. Jonax there as well. Tank configuration. He stayed on the best in for the entire map, and it's paid off.
저의 이름은 쪼낙이고요. 포지션은 서포터를 맡고 있고 팀은 뉴욕 엑셀시오라는 팀에서 활동하고 있습니다. 일단 당연한 건 엄청난 노력이 필요한 것 같고 당연히 대회에서 이겨야 더 잘하는 것처럼 보이니까 제가 제냐타라는 캐릭터를 지금 제일 잘하고 있어서 지금 이 자리에 뽑힌 것 같습니다. 제냐타랑은 달리 제냐타가 힐러인데 저는 힐러를 힐러같이 안 쓰고 딜러같이 딜을 더 중요하게 생각하고 그래가지고 특별한 것 같아요 저는.
And then you've got Jonax. It's like, oh, Saviobi is dead. Hold my beer. It's fine.
지금 파이널을 어떻게 준비하고 있냐면 저는 상대를 더 연구 많이 하고 개인적으로 제냐타로 할 수 있는 거를 다 할 수 있게 노력하고 있습니다.
This is why we talk about Jonak being, the most dangerous Zenyatta player in the Overwatch League.
MVP를 뽑히게 되면은 당연히 지금 오버워치 리그 선수들 중에 제일 잘하고 있고 좋은 모습 보여줬다는 증거니까 당연히 기분이 엄청 좋을 것 같아요.
Oh, okay, there we go. Deep nade all the way in. Oh, style from Jonak!
Welcome back to the Overwatch League, and wow, Jonak. I mean, certainly my pick for MVP of the league. He's got so much skill. He's got glasses that keep Harry Potter up at night. Like, he's the scariest Zenyatta. In fact, he actually did the second most hero damage done on King's Row, we found out. So, I mean, that's Jonak in a nutshell, guys. Certainly my pick for the MVP.
I think it's really hard to argue against Jonak as being the MVP right now because not only is the gap between him and the next Zenyatta massive, we know Jonak can play Ana at a very high level. That's how he made his name on the competitive ladder initially. We've seen him, of course, play some Roadhog, which gives him a lot of flexibility. But this team is really built around Jonak's abilities. And so he is propped up a lot, obviously, by getting pocketed by Arc, getting a lot of the damage boosting from the Mercy, but that's because his skills are so insane.
Sure, he deserves it. Not every Zen deserves to be boosted like Arc boosts Jonak, but Jonak does deserve it. So definitely, vote for whoever you want, though. Really, I mean, if you think someone else, you might be wrong.
A person with taste would vote for Jonak.
I would agree. I'm glad you said that. But if you want to vote for Jonak or anyone else, just hashtag OwlMVP in your tweet. Put their gamer tag in there as well, so we know who you're talking about. And then when you vote for Jonak, you can feel good about yourself. Or really, anybody, I suppose. But you want to make me feel good about your MVP vote too. So keep that in mind.
That's right. It's all about pleasing Doa, and that's been the basis of our relationship.
Said by Wayne Gretzky, I believe. That was another one of his quotes. I think.
But yeah, I think we take a look at the substitutions coming in. Awesome Guy will be subbing in for Swoosh. But to go back to Jonak, one of my favorite topics of conversation in the Overwatch
We
League.
haven't talked about him for a while.
Yeah, we haven't.
Yeah.
We talked about Awesome Guy for 2 seconds, so now back to Jonak.
There you go.
Jonak, I'm really excited to see him with Brigitte, and I really want to see NYXL play Brigitte because it's a natural fit for their more defensive style. But Jonak on the Zen, when he has 150 armor, underneath his shields is going to be a 350 HP Zenyatta, and he already plays a frontline Zen style.
Yeah.
So we could easily see him with that amount of power wading into the fray on Zenyatta and dealing even more damage than we're used to from him. So
Absolutely.
I'm really excited about that. I do hope we get to see some Brigitte from New York during this series.
Yeah. If we do, it'll probably be one of the DPS players playing it, of course, because that's generally what we've been seeing so far. But if they're able to give that armor to Jonak, like you said, it becomes even more of a Jonak. It's like when Shredder becomes Super Shredder at the end of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2: Secret of the Ooze. And even though Super Shredder didn't last very long, I mean, we all know he broke that dock down and it fell on him, and of course, he supposedly drowned, but probably will come back later at some point. But for a while, he was a really strong version of Shredder.
I don't think he's coming back, Doa.
You don't think so? So I suppose it's been 20 years at this point, hasn't it?
You forgot about the new movies, the new TV.
Oh, well, no, I just pretend they don't exist, actually, but yeah. Nobody's tougher than Super Shredder. Well, except for literally everybody else in that movie.
That's also a Wayne Gretzky quote, by the way.
That's right. Except me. That's what he said, yeah. Brantford, Ontario, I heard. Twitter, yeah, now we know where it was somewhere in Canada after all. Here we go. New York Excelsior on the attack here on Hanamura. Or to Mayhem with a bit of defense Tvik on the Genji. Zebasai on the Ana this time around.
So interesting, we're seeing the Widowmaker on the defense.
Oh, there's a
as he,
Widowmaker.
Takes out Jonak. That will be resurrectable, however.
Logic's like, what did he say about that MVP? He's back.
He's back once again, safely protected by a Winston bubble during the resurrection. Sebilby going to run in from the flank right here and try and put some pressure on Logix on the point. Logix is all by himself, so they have to be rather careful, but Libero is going to fall.
Yeah, Logic's with 2 pretty good picks already. Using up the res early with the pick onto Jonak, and now another kill onto Libero. Sebilby, meanwhile, though, sneaking around the back, gonna put some pressure on the point itself, or just kind of leave the New York logo everywhere.
Yeah, just go ahead. Leave this phrase. Vandalize Hanamura a little bit. It looks like an ancient Japanese dojo, but why not just put Florida Mayhem and New York Excel sprays all over it?
Horrible. Oh, Logix comes back with the kill and Sebilby found him. That's what you get for vandalizing Hanamura.
Logix right now, 3 eliminations, 3 final blows. He is responsible for all kills so far in this game. He is certainly holding his own. And New York, a little bit slow on this attack. They were trying to set up that flank with Sebilby, but shut down by Mr. Logix.
That's right. Thank Mr. Logix indeed. Now, New York, though, I mean, we saw them a little bit slow on after point A on New York, too. Just kind of taking an extended amount of time to set things up. Now they're going to dive in. Logix, though, jumping to safety here after the movement cooldowns are used by New York. And looks like Janice is going to have to leap out again.
Sebilby still there hiding behind the bell, but Infrasight used, and he will have to get out towards the top side of the map. Janice and Meko barely staying alive. The sleep darts have actually been pretty good from the Florida Mayhem so far today.
Here's the question. Is New York doing this just so they can go in and take point A and then have a bunch of ults ready for B? Tvik trying to end this push right here with the Dragon Blade, gets Libero. Looking for more, but the Blade is almost done. It is done now. He had the Nano Boost too, but he only came away with 1 kill out of that one. Meanwhile, the pressure still on the payload, or not the payload, on the point for the moment.
Yeah, Jonas and Sebilby both over there, and Tvik zoning the other members of the NYXL out, however.
Arc used the Valkyrie too, so not able to save that one. Sebilby gets the kill on Tvik though. Jonak gets Zebasai, headshot of his own over there. And Arc, ooh man, he is lucky he escaped from the sights of Logic there. And now New York looking like they're in a good position to take A. Crouching like his life depends on it, he couldn't get to the health pack. And Sebilby wins that 1v1, and that'll be point A, going over to New York.
Yeah, finally New York getting into the flank and actually putting pressure on Logix. Again, taking quite a long time to set up. Like we saw on King's Row, though, so execution looking a little rusty from the Excelsior today, but also Logix hitting those shots, really slowing them down.
Well, this is the thing. I mean, because they've taken a bit longer to do that, now they're going to come into point B with 3 ultimates ready to go. They nearly have Valkyrie as well. It's only 65%, but that one builds pretty quick, but it doesn't look like they're going to attack quickly, so the momentum is dropping off fast.
Well, Florida only used the Nano Boost and the Dragon Blade, so they're not in a bad situation for this defense either. It will be difficult, I think, for the NYXL to snowball. Sebilby peeking in, just looking at the positioning right now. They know that the support is going to be in the back lines. It's actually Logix there using that Infrasight. They have both supports on the high ground. This is unusual. Usually you'd have the Ana on the back of the point.
Jonak, he got hit with a bio grenade. He had to use Transcendence to stay alive right now. New York committing to this one. They're going to try to go in. Awesome guy in trouble. Pops a Primal Rage to stay alive. Now Florida backing off again. Meko gets the kill onto Zebasai, and New York not quite done yet. They use the Valkyrie for Arc as well, keeping Meko alive, keeping him in the suit. Nice shot on a Tvik from Jonak too. Doing the damage, that's what he does on the Zenyatta. Now Florida reeling a little bit, trying to delay as long as they can.
Yeah, Nano Boost onto Manitin just to keep him alive as long as possible.
Yeah.
And he's going to use that self-destruct, so nice stall there using the ultimates from the Florida Mayhem. But guess what? Jonak has a Transcendence again already.
Oh, but he's down. Tvik taking advantage and cutting down with the dash. Zebasai out. Missing Jonak is really going to hurt, especially because he did just get that Transcendence back. So that's going to push New York out of it for now.
I mean, Jonak is sitting at 31% of his team's damage right now.
It's absolutely insane what this guy gets done on Zen.
Yeah, that's how he got that Trance back so fast. Right from that high ground, but there's no closing here from the NYXL, and they don't even take a tick. The Nano Boost into self-destruct stall from the Mayhem was solid.
Yeah. Well, Florida manages to hold, and crucially, they don't give up a tick to New York on that push. 3 minutes to go now for NYXL to try to complete Hanamura.
Logic's posting far forward. This is a really interesting defense from the Mayhem because this is not the normal Ana positioning that you see. Zebasai on the high ground, and he's just trying to punish them as they come through with a bio grenade, and he keeps getting it too. Jonas is hit by it.
Oh, Jonak in trouble. Those some shots, and there's Logic's finally finishing him off. Arc in big trouble as well, but the rest of New York is already down. Just wait for him to, Zupa finishes him off. Whoa, Janus. That's a sad noise coming out of Winston when he falls to his doom there.
The Gorilla Death Scream.
I know.
That was one of your heavy metal bands.
Gorilla Death Scream, that's true. I was in that band in college. Yeah, that's right. Inspired by the ending of King Kong. Gorillas falling long distances. That was the name of our first album. Well, New York with 3 ultimates coming into this one here. CVB should have his pulse bomb pretty soon. Meko just gonna take a nap. Do Diva Mech's dream of Electric Sheep.
I don't know. I don't know if the mech has any dreams at all, though. It's not animated in any way.
It can sleep, apparently. That's all we know. Janus pops a Primal Rage. Tvik has an Ana Boost and the Blade out again, but no kills from it. Zebasai, though, again, meeting his fate at the furry paws of Janus. Now Meko shoots Tvik down out of the air. New York on the point. It's going to be the self-destruct from Manitin. They've got the Winston shield there to protect people, but oh, Manitin can't get back in the mech. Libero there with the shot. Onto the point now. That's going to be 2 ticks taken by New York, nearing 3, and the respawns can't even get out the door. New York takes it with 1:17 left on the clock. It wasn't the fastest affair we'd ever seen on attack. It was a decent defense from Florida, but New York gets the job done anyway.
And certainly, if Florida is able to use Logix on that Widowmaker on their attack round as well, and perform as well as he did on defense, then they may actually have a chance of getting this even faster, because that snowball can happen really fast for the non-Widowmaker heroes if the Widow gets the pick and then you charge your ults off of A. So Florida, I think, had a pretty solid defense there overall with only a little over a minute left in time bank.
Absolutely. Florida's certainly a team that's been looking a little bit better of late. The addition certainly helping out with that. No Saya player yet, but then again, this might not be the map that they really want to use him in anyway. So,
I mean, Logix has been doing so well.
He has. He really has.
It's hard to argue with it, even though Saya player has put up some very impressive numbers. Florida Mayhem, at least today, I think, prizing the, I would say, better communication with this roster due to the lack of language barriers, it would appear. Except for Awesome Guy, who's now in the mix, but has been handling things with aplomb.
Yep. Jump! You can make it! Yes, you did it. That is a scary jump to try with the Zenyatta. Trust me on that one.
It can go horrifically wrong.
It can, yeah, because Zenyatta can float like 2 feet off the ground, but he can't fly.
For some reason.
He can't, although he can somehow boost himself when he jumps, which I don't know how that really works from a physics sense. I don't know where the boost comes from in that situation.
He just uses more fuel.
I guess. But is he solar powered? That's the question. Is it green energy? He's got to be, right?
I honestly have no idea.
It's coal. Zenyatta burns coal to that's right. He's a coal powered Omnic.
When he respawns, they just shovel some more in there.
That's right. No wonder everyone wanted to stop the Omnics. Polluting everything. Here we go. Florida on the attack. Tvik back on the Hanzo again. New Hanzo, old Hanzo, doesn't matter. Tvik will play it.
And double sniper for the Florida Mayhem. Tvik going to crawl up, try and zone out Sabyl in the back line. And that's going to change everything. They see the Hanzo, they know the Widowmaker's there, and now everyone against the walls for the NYXL. Libero just trying to control the choke point right now, but he's going to have some trouble as they start to come through.
Another kill from Logix. Rez is going to come in on the Sabyl B. Rez comes in on Tvik on the Florida side. Awesome Guy, though, a little bit on his own. Finished off by Jonak. Jonak, man, the battle Zenyatta up in the faces of Florida. That's kind of what we've come to expect from him, though. Uh-oh, they lost Janus. Tvik with the scatter arrow, getting into the Winston shield and dropping it.
Yeah, that punish, though, sort of goes awry there for the NYXL. Now they don't have a main tank to help them out on this defense. They have to wait for Jonas to make it all the way back from the spawn. This is going to provide more sight lines, more of an opportunity for the Florida Mayhem to punch through. They have all 6 players now.
Jonas on the way back, but they need to be aggressive with this. They lose to Tvik already, though, coming into it. Sabyl gets the kill, and now the res. Nearly countered. Zebasai was knocked back, but he got Tvik back up just in time. Close call.
Tavik's death allowed Jonas to get back. If Sabielby doesn't hit that shot, that's when the Florida Mayhem are going to be able to enter the point.
Yep, here we go. Zebasai pops that Valkyrie. Awesome guy down though. Meko gets him with the charge, and now Florida just falling apart. That's a Valkyrie that's not going to really do anything for Florida. But I mean, that's how they always have used Valkyrie, right? They usually pop it pretty early compared to a lot of other teams.
I mean, it was just a little bit, there was too much distance there between the tank line. Awesome guy and Manitin headed into the back, and Zebasai was trying to reach them, but they died so quickly as a result of NY falling back and catching that dive that there really wasn't anything that could be done.
That's right. Oh, Logic's finally taken out by Sabielby. It's a kill that New York definitely needed. All right, Janice lets everyone know that his Primal Rage is nearly ready to go. We knew that already, though. We can see everything. Oh, we can see Sabielby take out the pick as well. Zebasai there with the res, of course. Sabielby has gotten a couple of interesting kills here. Dragon Strike sent through as Florida decides to get aggressive. This is a moment, and with 120 on the clock, they really do need to get something going here. Manitin drops, so pops that self-destruct, can't get back in the mech. Logix gets the kill on Sabielby, but Jonak right there to take out the other sniper. Tavik out of the way, and there goes Janus. Supa getting one, so New York without their Winston right now. Primal Rage from Awesome Guy. Riptire used, meanwhile, by Libero. It's gonna try to scare Florida away. It's gonna just get Logix.
Will be a resurrection, but this is all bot time for NY to get back over and collect themselves for another defense. Question is whether they go for it, and they will now that Sabielby got Logix.
Yeah, they could maybe get like a round to even fight here. Jonak going into delay with the Transcendence. They're not done yet, trying to keep Arc alive. He'll just barely be able to do so. Arc is still on the edge, and Tavik finally finishes him off. He swapped over to the Tracer, and now Jonak can't fight the 1v1 against Awesome Guy. And it looks like Florida might be able to finally claim point A.
There are no supports now for the NYXL, but Libero is back, and he is dealing some damage.
Yeah.
Valkyrie out for the side of the Florida Mayhem.
Oh, everybody's so low on New York that's near there, and that's going to be easy for Florida to clean up. That's going to be point A, finally taken by Florida.
They're going to try and punish Libero here, who is desperately running around that corner and does manage to make it back. So Florida nearly at that overtime, does manage to make it work, and now they're going to try and attack directly through the main gateway onto point B.
Yeah, you can start this fight out kind of trying to handle the respawns if you just want to fight. So Florida trying to take advantage here. They get Libero early with a pulse bomb from Tavik. That's a good start. Meko demech by Awesome Guy using that Primal Rage. Manitin low. They need to get some healing onto him. They can't keep him in the mech. And now Jonak comes in with yet another Transcendence. Bounced away by the self-destruct. Awesome Guy's still okay. He's going to get back to their own Zenyatta healing on the Florida side. Tavik res, meanwhile, by Zebasai as Florida falls back, but they're getting kills that they might be able to re-engage here. Logix now on that 76, has attack visor. Janus dodging in and out of the Winston bubble, manages to stay alive against that.
And zones him out, so they can't actually take anybody down on the point either. Great play from Janus to deny the tactical visor. Not even one tick yet from the Florida Mayhem, and Manitin will take a jump off the edge and start the reset process. Looked good for Florida, but they just didn't quite get that Valkyrie up on Zebasai to try and finish things out.
That was really close to being a hard-won fight by Florida Mayhem. But unfortunately for them, they don't even come away with a single tick on their first attack on B.
And now it's all about the Tracer and the Genji on the defense. From the XL, Logix goes back to the Widowmaker.
And Zebasai, once again using the Valkyrie to begin the fight. Likes to use that as his team goes in. They've nearly got a tick already. New York gonna go ahead and stop them. Jonak gets Manitin out of the mech almost immediately though.
I mean, how do you get feedback in that situation when you use the Valkyrie? There is a fundamental disconnect, and we've seen this multiple times this map.
All 4 seasons
from Florida.
Actually.
Yeah, you have to be able to follow up on your tank's initiation. Otherwise, the Valkyrie doesn't do anything.
I mean, that's kind of the story of Florida with this Mercy. They use the Valkyrie early in the fight. Oh, nice stick from Vic onto Arc, though. And then the tanks get separated. They lose people, right? Florida's still making a go of this, though. The kill onto the Mercy of the New York side might help them out. Nearly got one tick already. Ooh, it was close, but New York still delaying. Self-destruct used. Washington, it looks like. Ooh, kills coming in for Florida. They might have a chance here. They got both of New York's supports.
Libero's trying to go deal with Logix right now. They can't have him free firing over the point, but Logix is going to make it out alive.
All right, it's a brawl, man. It's gotten messy, but Florida making it work. One tick taken so far, but they need all three. 120 on the clock. They need to take B if they want to force this into time bank.
And it looks like they may just do it. Jonak is on the May, but he will fall. Libero trying to make it out, and he's not going to. Awesome Guy finishes the kill.
Yeah, lucky out Awesome Guy there. Meanwhile, Meko taken down as well. 2 ticks nearly taken by Florida. They've almost got it. They've got it now. They've nearly got all the points here. May can't make it back, and that's going to be Florida getting 2 points themselves here on Hanamura. Now, it is interesting to note that in the maps that New York and Florida have played against each other, this map has been the closest. In Stage 2, last time they played each other in Hanamura, it did go 4-4.
Yeah, and it'd be hard to get at that the 4-4 score again, considering the low amount of time in the time bank.
This time, yeah.
It has been, as you say, very close. Really, Tavik and Logix are carrying this Florida team right now. Tavik had some clutch pulse bombs on that 2 clutch pulse bombs on that final push. Logix living through Libero's attempt to kill him on the high ground, and then finishing off a lot of those shots, hitting the headshots that they needed. And he's there with 15 final blows already this round. So in spite of the disconnect between the tank and the support line for Florida, we see the DPS making the plays necessary to keep them in this match.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of been the story of Florida Mayhem all throughout Overwatch League, is when they do succeed, it is usually on the back of DPS plays.
And they are looking good in that way today. And while Excel will be on the defense first with a short 18 more seconds, Libero is going to take a chance here and see if they are going to come through the ramen shop. Maybe you can pick up a free kill and buy some time.
No, why not? Kills, just like ramen, are cheap for Junkrat. In general, you can get some very nice expensive ramen too, but
Generally, though, it is known for being a delicious and relatively inexpensive food.
it's very true. One of Wayne Gretzky's favorite foods, I've heard.
Yeah, definitely. I've heard that too.
Hashtag Wayne Gretzky fans. That's not true at all, by the way. Sorry, Wayne.
It might be.
Yeah, who knows? I haven't asked him. Yeah. Oh, save will be. Finds one on the Logix, and now just 25 seconds left already for Florida on this attack. They need to get something done, and they need to get it done now.
So they get the res onto Logix. Tavik is putting pressure on the point on the Tracer already. Awesome Guy is going to jump in and try and join him.
Yeah, they're on the point. Meko delaying as long as he can. Nearly a tick taken by Florida here.
Oh, Meko doesn't get D-Deck. That is really important.
Yeah, but Janus down. Logix finishes him off. Zupa, though, taking out Florida without one of their supports. We're into OT. Has Florida done it? Jonak rolls in with the Transcendence, and here comes Meko to try to delay, try to just buy time for New York to complete this defense. But it is so close for Florida to take this point.
Tavik frantically dashing around the point right now, trying to save this.
Oh, he can't use his Pulse Bomb. Jonak gets him right as the ultimate comes up for Tracer, and the res does not come through for Zebasai. Janus with another kill there. Meko finally gets Demect, and now Logix over on the Doomfist here. Delaying, waiting for the self-destruct, turns around,
nice
punches Janus into the wall. That works. Logix, a great Doomfist, and he's showing it right here. Gets the healing from the Zenyatta right as he comes in. Zupa saving the day, and it might just be enough. He's got the ultimate too, but he doesn't use it. Oh man, they really could have used that there, or, you know, they might just have enough to take A.
And they do. Arc was the only one left up at the end. Logix has been really carrying this team. He's at 26% of his team's damage right now.
He's got the Meteor Strike here for point B, too, so they may have a chance to actually get something done. He'll be being sneaky, though.
And look at this, Libero on the Pharah. They know that they're going to try and snowball these ultimates. They know that Tracer has the ult. They know that Doomfist has the ult, and Zupe is going to fall. There's not going to be a chance to res, but Logix
right back
still
there,
making it work.
Meteor Strike, trying to line it up. Comes down, no damage on the Jonak. He's got to use the combo. Jonak a little bit low. Punch comes through, the left hook finishes him. But Logix, or Janus right there to get the kill onto the Doomfist now. And with the self-destruct pushing back Florida, it looks like they may defend it right here. So Florida taking A in the last seconds, but they don't get anything on B.
All right, we are going to take a look at the Doomfist play from Mr. Logix. They're at the end of point A. Florida Mayhem doing an excellent job of finishing A, and that's going to put New York in a tough situation.
Turning around, it's like, hey, I can punch Janice into a wall. That was a great move there. Really good situational awareness by Logix on the Doomfist.
Yeah, absolutely clutch, too, to pick up those 2 kills. Help Florida move on to point B. And they don't get a tick there, but I think they can feel pretty confident that they're probably going to at least get a draw here.
Yeah. It's certainly looking good. New York with only 1:18 in their time bank to try to attack with. That is, of course, only 18 seconds more than Florida had on their attack.
And New York struggled with their first attack.
Yeah, they really
on
did.
this point. It took them a long time to get the setup that they wanted, to get Sabilby on the flank, and Logix was taking people's heads off on the first basically 3 attacks from New York.
Yep. No doubt about that. So what does New York have in mind here? It looks like they may boost people with Libero and then have them swap onto something else to catch up. We'll see.
I am also curious what they're going to do. It wouldn't surprise me if they just went Tracer Genji. They are going to go to the Hanzo. Libero back on the Libero Classic, and he will switch to the Widowmaker. So just checking, making sure there wasn't going to be a crazy forward defense from the Florida Mayhem in the ramen shop.
Now, cheese like that can certainly derail you if you've only got that little bit of time left on the clock like New York does. They can't waste
Just
time.
rushing it.
Ooh, Sabilby, yeah, they're just going on the point in a hurry here. Florida has to react.
So they know it's only Manitin on the point, and Logix there in the back, and they're going to get the D-back and kill instantly.
Oh, that was about as fast as it goes. Manitin out of the way already. They've got Florida bottled up back in the house on the side, and they're just letting, a few people sit on the point while everybody else chases Florida down. Logix does get the kill in the Libero, though, but look at this. The point's still being taken. In the meantime, New York nearly just gets it. Awesome guy down. But they are so close. They take A. They've got a minute left, too.
And New York, they knew the formation. Florida didn't change their formation. Ooh.
That was a close call.
That was a close call. They didn't change their formation. It was Manitin on the point, and they knew where Logix was going to retreat to. So they didn't have any fear to use the double blink onto the point and have Jonas leap there because they read where Florida Mayhem was defending because nothing was changed on the side of the Mayhem.
Really well executed by New York for as slow as they were the first time around. No hesitation at all with their second attack.
I mean, they adapt so quickly, right?
Oh, of course. One of the reasons why they're the best team in the league right now. Arc has that Valkyrie, too. Sabilby gets the pulse bomb. A big one could end it. They only need that one tick. Meko D-Mech, though. There goes Sabilby. Wow, Florida coming back. They put the Nanomoose onto Awesome Guy, and that's a solid defense.
And Sebasai had the Bionic Grenade before the Trance came out, so the Trance was not going to get those heals. Florida Mayhem have a good execution. However, they still have to deal with this ulting Jonas and Sabilby on the point. Pulse Bomb is going to take out Tavik as he dashes away.
And now it's just Janus. Sabilby around. Meko actually makes it back. Janus down. Florida struggling, or not struggling, but scrambling a little bit to defend. Self-destruct comes in. They've got the Winston shield. He's going to run away anyway. Zoop it down. Sabilby found him on the side of the fight. Shonak back again. He swapped over to that soldier, actually. Dragon Blade from Tavik, trying to cause the tie right here, right now. Ooh, maybe they can do it. It looks like they can. Meko down, out of commission. OT ticks away. It's just Sabilby and Arc left. Arc bounced away on that Lucio, and that will be quite the defense from Florida to cause a draw on Hanamura.
Very exciting Hanamura match, and a really good performance from the DPS on the side of the Mayhem.
Yeah.
New York Excelsior struggling against Logix and Tavik.
Well, after 2 maps, it's 1-0. First map going the way of New York Excelsior. Second map, a draw. Florida Mayhem with some solid defense, managing to force that one out. And that puts us in an interesting spot going into halftime, though. I'm sure the desk is going to have a lot to say when we come back after this break. Don't go anywhere, guys. More Overwatch League coming at you right after this.
Only one can become the first ever Overwatch League MVP, and T-Mobile is giving fans the power to help the Shoutcasters choose. Cast your vote now on Twitter by using hashtag OWLMVP and your player's battle tag.
Day 2 of Stage 4 has been a fun one so far. Already, we had an upset to start the day with Boston falling to Philly. Now we see, after 2 games, it's a 1-0 lead right now for New York XL. Florida hanging into this match. Crumbs, talk us through this early action so far. Why is the series so close?
Because the meta is kind of like Pokemon Arena. The environment is always changing, so the teams that are good in some scenarios are not going to be good in other ones. New York is trying to get used to the new terrain right now, and they're clearly struggling. And I think that Florida had a decent read on it. They're still working out their kinks, but they look much better than
I like the analogies tonight. I like it. Let's get into some of the highlights from the games, going all the way back to map number 1. Kings Row, we saw some Hanzos coming out. Josh, what was your favorite part?
Well, my favorite part was watching NYXL slowly push forward with this Winston Diva composition. And they ran the Reinhardt for the first time ever as well when they're on defense. But it was more of the same from what we expect for NYXL, I think.
They did it very convincingly in the way that Libero was playing Hanzo, because you know that your scatter arrow is basically a guaranteed kill. So he just holds on to it until he knows the priority target is there, and you shoot the scatter arrow. The third and first point pushes were won because he hit a scatter arrow on the Mercy. It's really that simple. It's a guaranteed ability, and so the best players know how to make the most out of it.
And Hanzo is so powerful, even on the live servers. Obviously, we're working with patch 1.22 here, so Libero excellent at being able to make use of those scatter arrows. And even though NYXL weren't running a Zarya for the entirety of this map, they were still able to get big value out of his Dragon Strikes. And although the map seemed very close, I think this was more because NYXL slowed the pace down a lot. Only won about 4 fights on their offense, but were still able to slow roll that one forwards. But moving over to Hanamura, it then became the Florida Mayhem actually putting up a very convincing defense. Here, the Dragon Blade from Tvik only caught one person, which was a bit of a misplay, and that allowed Janice and Sabiobi into the back to be able to pick him up, and that was how they captured the first point. But we saw that both teams were able to really go the distance, and this is much closer than you would expect the best team in the world to play against the Florida Mayhem. And these are not close teams on the standing.
But I think that's where the flexibility of New York has to become a little bit stronger, because I think Logix in particular was obviously a big part with his Widowmaker, but when you would think of the Widowmaker that can hold up to Logix, it would be Pine out of this team. It's really not Libero or Sapio. We got to consistently at the level to deal with these Widowmakers such as Logix or Saya player that we haven't seen yet. So I think that right now, Widowmaker without Pine in the lineup might be a bit of an issue for New York.
I have to say, the Doomfist play from Logix, my favorite of the day so far.
Such a great
I
clutch.
want to see more Doomfist here in Stage 4.
But you know what we do get to see a lot more of, Puckett? It's Jonak killing it on Zenyatta.
Always.
We have a stat to show just how much damage he was doing, comparing him to his counterpart. Take a look at that. That's almost twice as much damage. He did more healing, more final blow. Like, you really cannot expect more out of your Zenyatta. He killed it in every single category. He's just murdering tanks, because obviously you don't get that damage from not hitting your tanks, but that's what it's doing. You put your front line in a weaker position, you strengthen your own, and then your DPS do the work.
71 seconds to 98 to charge your ult. Yeah. Most of that from the damage.
Double damage, but you're not sacrificing healing, right?
Jonak, how do you do it?
You're not giving anything up. It's like you have just 2 massive buff arms that can do everything.
Pretty ridiculous stuff. Now, Josh, you did mention this was a much tighter match than the standings could have predicted. Yeah. Very close so far here in the new meta. What did we see from the team specifically on map 2, though, that make you feel this could be an even more exciting series in the second half?
Well, I think Florida Mayhem have increased, have taken this break, and where other people were going over to, you know, their home cities, back to New York to try and work on the marketing.
They didn't want to go to Florida?
No,
what?
I think they just absolutely grinded out the practice, because they look so slick at the moment, actually. So I've got a Telestrator to run through with our insights powered by Intel, to give you an idea of what they were doing on this Hanamura defense. And so this is NYXL on the attack, and you can see here the positioning that is coming out from the tanks. So they've got this kind of system set up here where the tanks are right up at the front line. If Awesome Guy gets pressured, then Manitin is going to be there to kind of peel him away, and Awesome Guy's always going to try and stay at the front. The way that NYXL are going to break this is by jumping Janice and Sabiorbi over to the point, and they're trying to draw people back. They're trying to bait the Florida Mayhem to go and deal with them, and that is going to allow everybody else to get a free entry from all the way back there. Their backline's just going to walk in if that happens. So the Florida Mayhem do not get baited by this. Here you can see Janice and Sabiorbi go straight to the point, and there is only one player that follows them. only Manitin is going to go and deal with this. And by deal with this, I don't mean kill them, I mean just stall out the point. Because Sabiobi and Janus can't really do anything from there, and instead Awesome Guy is going to just hold down the front zone here. So this is much more disciplined play than we normally see from the Florida Mayhem. So I'll just pause it here just to highlight again that it's Manitin who's dealing at the back here with Sabiobi and Janus. He's receiving the heals from Zuppe. And in the front line, it's Tvik and Awesome Guy who are going to try and win this fight. So this is how the best teams at the moment are holding Hanamura. You don't get distracted by the Tracer and the Winston at the back. Instead, you focus on the front. Now, unfortunately, even with the Nanoblade, Tvik isn't able to get too much done. And he does, it's just credit here to Jonak and Ark's positioning to keep everybody alive. Mecha with the peels as well. That's what makes NYXL such a great team. And then as it gets into this position, you see that Sabiobi and Janus, they haven't been able to do anything on the point. Manitin's been able to guard them away. So instead, they go for a dive onto Tvik here. And this is where it all falls apart for NYXL. Because yes, they had one strategy and it fell a little bit to pieces. It didn't quite go how they wanted it to. They weren't able to pull off the bait. But when it comes down to it, NYXL can always adapt in these situations. And that's what makes them the best team in the Overwatch League. They were able to turn that situation there where Florida Mayhem didn't fall for the bait. As they did. I don't want to steal the words out of Hex's mouth because he's been doing such a great job with that. But yeah, they did. They really turned something sour into something sweet.
That was an excellent breakdown. And I got to get your prediction for the second half. Coming in, I think we all saw New York walking away as the favorites. Now that we've seen 2 games, how can Florida steal this in the second half? Is it still a game they can take?
I'm only going to take that back because I prefer sour at the end, so I'd rather it start sweet, turning into something sour. But I think Florida does not take it in the end. But I do think that they will make a very competitive series. I don't think that New York is going to need to push the limits a little bit more. They'll just go ahead and bust out the big guns. This was too close for comfort if I'm New York.
This is too close for comfort, and NYXL have historically not been the best offensive team, right? They're normally great at defense. Not so much this match, but we haven't seen Florida Mayhem even try and pull out the Brigitte yet. Or they've only run it once for a really small amount of time on King's Row. If you pull out the Brigitte and Sabiobi can only play Tracer or Widowmaker at the highest level, what are they going to play into you? How do they dive into that? You would normally run some spam composition, some Farah, Junkrat, or maybe the Ryan Zarya. These are not heroes that New York are particularly comfortable with. So I want to see Florida push them outside their comfort zone, really try some Brigitte on these next 2 maps, see how New York react to that.
We'll see if the upsets will continue on the other side of this break, or will be New York staying up top? We'll find out in just a few. Don't go anywhere. Overwatch League continues when we return.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. The New York XL currently hold a 1-0 lead over the Florida Mayhem. Another draw on Hanamura. It's like these teams just can't seem to beat each other at this map. Now, let's take it back to map number 1 at Kings Row. It looked like we were having another close match, and the Florida Mayhem were getting ready to tie things up on the scoreboard. But there was one crucial mistake that I noticed, and that was when Tavik as Zarya fired a Graviton into D.Va's defense matrix. Now, I tend to get on here from time to time and drop some beginner's tips for all the new players out there. And this time we're going to talk about D.Va's defense matrix. It is hungry, and it wants to eat your ult. So, if you see the defense matrix, you must tread lightly, especially if you're a Zarya player. That Graviton will go straight in and she can eat it. Now, normally if you're playing D.Va, you don't want no parts of Zarya because her beam can cut straight through your mech and just knock you out of that. But if you're getting ready to fire your ult, Bunny's got to eat. It's got to eat. So that was another PSA from your boy. Let's get right back into this matchup with our casters, Monty and Doa.
Thank you, Malik. That is a great tip. You know what I always think with D.Va, if you're looking at D.Va, if you see the lines, now's not the time.
That doesn't rhyme.
For alts. That's what I got.
Wow. A horrible attempt at a rhyme from Doa, as usual. He's gone.
I'm back. Don't worry. All right. We're going to Oasis.
I was afraid I was going to have to solo cast there for a moment.
I was afraid too. But luckily the elevator came back up again and was installed during the commercial break. Yeah.
I think we could have taken a look at some subs, Doa.
Let's take a look at some subs. That's right. It's a substitution. It's not us being subbed out, unfortunately. It's going to be Mono coming in for Janice in the tank position for New York Excelsior, and over at support will be Animo coming in for Arc. As we look ahead to our control map, it's going to be Oasis.
And we are going to be on University first, it would appear. This is a must-win scenario for the Florida Mayhem because of the draw earlier on. If New York takes the control map, they will win the series no matter what.
Yep, that is true. And Oasis, it's one of those maps that has been a bit weird. It's one of those maps that's kind of tended to buck the trend for whatever the meta was and kind of had its own thing going on. And we'll see if that continues here, although Florida looks like we might have the Brigitte finally coming out with Maniton playing the new hero.
And Tavik on the Pharah, so interesting combination. Logix will be on the Zarya now, so finally some Brigitte in this matchup. And New York, they are having none of it. Mecco will be rolling with the Zarya, but they will be playing Pharah and McCree.
I think on Oasis, this is the best point to run Brigitte. See if Florida can make it work or not. Right now they're getting kind of pushed back a little bit, and if you stay away from the Brigitte, she can't really do much to you, so that's part of it. And of course, Libero firing those rockets in, certainly making life difficult. You need the 3 supports. If it was just Mercy and Brigitte, you wouldn't have enough healing to survive all the poke, and it looks like Maniton, he went back and grabbed the health pack. Zupa down.
Yeah, it will be hard for him to get close here because if he walks up, he has to deal with the flashbang. Also, just the concussive blast from the Pharah will knock him away as he's trying to look for some of those shield bash stuns. So closing the gap may be difficult here for the Florida Mayhem, and he really didn't get much ult charge at all.
Well, that's what I was about to say, actually, is that, if you can't get in there and hit people with your flail, you're not going to gain much ult charge either just by using the E on people occasionally. I was wondering if he was actually going to go back and swap, but they are going to stick with it for now. Meanwhile, Libero pretty much untouched. I mean, it's really hard for Florida to actually hit this Pharah unless it's in the air v air from Tavik. Florida trying to contest now, and Libero just shuts Tavik down. And here comes a barrage right behind Maniton. No chance at all. And the grab comes in to seal the deal.
And look at this. They're just toying with him.
Oh, dear.
They're so on point. They just wait for the grab to end. Don't actually finish him off right there. Later grab after the barrage. Animation had already begun from Libero.
Yep.
And Maniton now onto the D.Va. So they've had enough of this. Brigitte was never closing the gap.
Yeah, and in a nutshell, that's kind of how you handle the Brigitte sometimes. You just stay away. Tried to flashbang over the shield. Didn't quite get the stun onto Awesome Guy that Save Bilby was hoping for. Grab comes in now. Deadeye in response. Can he catch anybody with it? No, Tavik comes in with a barrage just in time. Man, that was close.
That was great communication. Logix had the barrier so that the Deadeye was not going to pierce through and take out Tavik during the barrage animation. So they played into it with the help of the Zarya barriers. And that makes a big difference. So now Florida will start their percent building.
Yep, really well done by Florida Mayhem. But New York in a great place. I mean, they're at 81% right now. They can just kind of bide their time, build up a few ultimates, come back in. And if they can win another fight, you can usually take the point off of that.
Tavik still going to be hovering in the back here, trying to make it difficult for the NYXL to walk up. Mono still has that shatter.
Yep. Awesome guy down early. Mono's still waiting on that Earth Shatter now. They're just going to kind of roll through Florida. The Tranquility comes out from Zebasai. Now the Shatter comes in, gets a charge onto Zebasai. And that's going to be New York just kind of crushing Florida, taking back the point. And Florida's got a lot of ults to use on the retake attempt, but that looked good for New York.
And they still have a grab too, NYXL, so they're going to be able to match grabs and the Transcendence to protect them during the grab itself.
And Barrage from Libero too to combine for New York, so it's going to be an ult-apocalypse here as Florida comes back in again to try to take the point, wasting no time. It's already 96%, 97. Grab comes in, here's a Barrage onto Zebasai immediately, and that is a combo. Play of the game right there from Libero. That should about do it. And New York gonna take the University.
First point down thanks to Libero and Meko combining for a wealth of kills.
Wow.
Libero ends that with 30% of his team's damage. A lot of that was just from the barrages, honestly. He had 8 barrage kills out of his 13 eliminations.
Yeah, that was dominant by New York. And, you know, we saw Florida try something new, right? They tried to run Manitou on the Brigitte. New York, though, handling it really well, just kind of using the Pharah to zone them out. Brigitte couldn't really advance. I mean, that was the thing. Libero specifically targeted Manitou so that he couldn't really walk forward, and Manitou ended up having to switch. It wasted a lot of time for Florida.
I mean, yes, that's definitely true, but it's still also, in addition to that, the fact that the healers are not really there with the tank line either. So as they're walking up, they can't get the heals if they want to continue moving forward. But either way, yeah, they just can't get into combat with this Brigitte. They're going to try again.
No, man, they're going to try it again.
Okay.
Manitou with the Fire Strike kill onto, or Mano with the Fire Strike kill onto Manitou. Mano, Manitou, Animo. Mono name. Mano, Manitou, Animo. Anyway, Florida push back as the point unlocks. Zebasai falls as well, and already Manitou switching off the Brigitte back onto the Diva this time around. Let's watch a replay of that. Mano just kind of capitalizing on the damage that was done.
He just throws this out, right?
Yeah,
he doesn't even expect to get that kill. It's Libero who had softened them up because he floated around the outside of the point.
Yeah, he was just trying to toss some damage in there and came away with the kill.
It's like, sweet, Fire Strike kill.
Yeah, it's like, I'll take it. Why not? CBP gets Logics too, so the Widow v Widow going the way of New York already.
It's going to take Zebasai a second there. Does manage to make it over to Logics, past the gap, not sniped on his way in. So we'll be back to a 6 versus 6 here as the Mayhem re-engage.
So Vic tries to go for the Tracer now, so they have swapped a lot of things up for Florida. Swapping quickly and Zebasai down. He just couldn't get away. There was no protection from the Raucous of Libero.
I think it's so hard for the Florida Mayhem to coordinate their front and their back lines because someone is always isolated. They are getting divided, split down the middle by the NYXL.
Speaking of isolated, Zupa looking that way right now. Libero capitalizing. Manitou not close enough to save his Zenyatta. And New York manages to keep holding. Uh-oh. I mean, that's the thing, is that between Sabilby and Libero, they're finding Zebasai in a lot of places where he just can't escape. He's wide out in the open. There's no protection from the Diva.
Nope, not at all. A lot of this is just, it's a lack of coordination.
Definitely.
There have been times where the tanks have gone in too far for the Florida supports to safely heal them. There have been times when the supports have been separated from the tanks, and it comes down a lot to New York's excellent job at target selection. Mano, he's creeping with the shatter, and he's gonna knock it in. Great bubble.
Awesome guy, gets the Winston bubble down just in time to block that one. That could have been devastating. Gotta check your corners, and that time they knew about it. Logics gets the kill on Sabilby, so Florida with a chance here to push in on a 6v5. Now it's a 6v4 as Zupa gets Jonak. Oh, but the isolation coming up, and there's Logics taking down Libero. Gets that kill, but they're going to have to give the point over. It is 99% though for New York, so just like University, they're in a good spot.
NYXL knew that was a losing battle. They didn't use grab, they didn't use Valve. First kill goes down, they can't resurrect, and then the second one comes over soon thereafter. Mano now going to switch over to the Winston to attack the high ground, make a more decisive engagement here around this Graviton Surge. Remember, Libero has a barrage too. We could see a similar play. Florida Mayhem know this though. They know the Grav hasn't come out, so they're spread out on the point right now.
Yeah.
They're ringing around the outside.
All right, a little bit of pressure from New York on the point.
They really want this combo, but I just don't think they're gonna find them in position to get it. But Logics will be found on the high ground.
I mean, if you're Libero and you can just fly in and kill someone, why not do just that? He got behind the Widowmaker, no pressure at all. Oh, baited! Zebasai tried to go for the res and Libero was right there.
And they didn't have the healing on the high ground either with the Transcendence. They had already dropped down, so the mind games thoroughly and convincingly won by Libero.
That's some real pain. Dealt by New York Excelsior. Florida Mayhem trying to hold on to this point. Zebasai does manage to boot Mono off, so they've got a chance here. Diving onto Sabilby, and they may have actually done it despite a really rough start Florida holds.
Yes, Florida went after everyone else while Libero was there, so they picked up kills onto the front line. Sabilby now changing tactics. He will be on the Tracer. Florida Mayhem looking to make this a 99-99 affair and keep themselves in the mix here in this match. They have to win this point in the next one if they want a shot at winning this series.
Yeah, that's right. This is the series on the line right now because of the tie in map number 2. Jonai taking some damage. Big boot coming in, and Tavik capitalizes. Nice kill into Animo. It's a brawl. Players falling on both sides. 3v3 at the moment here. Awesome guy comes up big though with a kill into Jonak and Meko. Meko down as well, 99-99, and it's New York shorthanded on the point. They're gonna get a few more members of Florida back just before New York reaches it. New York not able to flip it. Mono though able to delay with that Primal Rage, but now New York back in the action again. Awesome guy with his Primal Rage on the outside of the fight, diving back on the payload, or on the point rather, right now. Florida Mayhem, though, coming up with some pretty crucial kills here early in the fight. Super gets Libero. It's a good start for Florida.
It's a great start for Florida.
I think they do. Yeah, Meko down. And they do lose to Vic, but it's only
Sabilby's still alive.
No kidding, and he delays long enough for Mono to come in on the Doomfist. Now Jonak getting there on the 76. If Mono can stay alive, Super lives with like 5 HP. And New York has not given up yet. Jonak comes in,
have to get on the
point.
point.
Attack visor, and Florida keeps themselves alive on Oasis.
Great hold from Florida.
Whoa.
The swaps were desperate. They came in, the Lucio, the Sombra, but they got them there just a hair faster, so they always had a player advantage in that last fight. Libero stuck on the Pharah, trying to get over so they could use the barrage. Didn't end up working, and the Florida Mayhem will stay alive in this match.
Yeah, and just to reiterate, they need to. If they lose this map, they lose the series because of the tie on map 2. We're going to City Center, the third point here on Oasis. More Pharah in store, Libero and Tvik on that hero again. This time Manitou not messing around the Brigitte. It's not a good point for it anyway. He's gonna start with the Diva.
Yeah, Tvik on the Pharah.
Yeah.
So trying to match Libero in the sky. Meko still wants to play the Zarya, show off more of those Graviton barrage combos.
Yeah, it is interesting that they're using the Ryan Zarya actually on this one right now. Trying to go for it, being a little bit more tanky here, Tvik. Ooh, getting close, but the Zarya bubble scares him away. Zebasai down, Amano as well. So both Mercies out of commission early here. Air to air. Oh, Tvik taking some shots from the Widowmaker as well. Sabilby jumps in to finish him off. Manitou there for a bit of revenge. It still is going to be New York getting most of the way towards taking it early. And with that kill into Awesome Guy, they might be able to do it, but Logix comes in response, takes down Jonak. But New York does get their control percent going early.
Now, Logix needs to stay alive right now. He's zipping around. He's going to get the pulse bomb, and not only does he stay alive, but he'll stagger Mono. So big win there. Oh, the resurrect.
Well, there's the res.
Still there. There is no one from the Florida Mayhem to cover.
Yeah.
After the kill gets picked up.
So swaps coming in. Logix on the Widowmaker. Tvik on the Tracer now.
Tvik has done a pretty bang-up job on this Tracer. On Oasis, he is accounting for 34% of his team's damage to this point.
Very respectable. Florida coming in. Trying to retake here. 35% for New York already. in a round that's crucial for Florida to win in this series. Awesome guy, really low. Ooh, barely staying alive. Libero, one more body shot with a rocket would have done it.
They're going to start peeking around. They have the infra sight. They really want to get Zebasai again. Zebasai will fly behind cover, but he's also just going to get hit by the Graviton.
Don't even need the barrage there.
Great use of the infra sight to pin them on the opposite side of the wall.
Yeah.
And it's cleanup time for the NYXL, who are dominating City Center.
Sableby with a clean 3K at the end of that fight. New York getting close to 70% already.
And look at this. They are just playing so far forward right now. They want the charge back onto Mecco as they come in, and they know they have a big ultimate advantage. Florida Mayhem still working out a few percent. Manatin can't even get out right there.
Tvik trying to backcap here right now. Somebody's got to go back and stop it. They do. It's scared Tvik away. But here's where that Reinhardt comes up big for New York, right? Look at this. You can cover Sableby, and it's so hard to run across that open space as Florida with a Widowmaker firing at you.
They're trying with the Tvik distraction right now, and it will be successful. They force everyone to pull back as Animo uses the Valkyrie.
That's the plan. Mano's still sitting on that Earthshatter for the moment. Barrage comes in from Libero. He gets Logix right away, but Zebasai flies in for the kill and then the res.
The revenge of Zebasai.
No kidding. What a statement right there. Mano misses the charge. Just trying to survive anyway. Doesn't get pulse bomb though. Meanwhile, the Earthshatter comes in on Tvik, finds him with a fire strike. And Florida can't flip the point just yet. They're still brawling though, but Mountain full health and walking forward nearly has Zebasai. Ooh, Zebasai can't escape. Dodges a fire strike. Gets out with the Guardian Angel, but now the Grav comes in from Mecco and he grabs a 2K. That's gonna be New York taking Oasis, taking this series. One more map to go, but New York gonna be able to put the W in their first match of stage 4.
And it may sound silly considering how far NY is ahead in these standings, but a win today gets them that much closer to locking up that first seed. If they win 5 matches in this stage, which of course seems all but inevitable, they will be our first seed heading into playoffs.
It does not seem tough. One more map to go here. When we come back, guys, don't miss it.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Sour Patch Kids. Sour, sweet, gone.
First, they're sour. Then they're sweet.
Thanks, guys.
New Sour Patch Kids Fire and Freeze. Sour, sweet, gone.
The anticipation has been building, and it is finally time.
I'm not going to miss these games. They're incredible.
This is hype. This is what we've been waiting for. All going to come down to this.
All the marbles on the line here.
They are the best team we have in Overwatch League. This is going to be so fun to watch.
Welcome back to the Overwatch League, everybody. New York Excelsior has wrapped up this match. They have won 2 maps. There was a tie in the second one, so they will be winning it, but we still have one more map to play. It's going to be Watch Point Gibraltar. There's going to be some subs coming in.
There will be.
Get things situated there for the moment.
I think the last thing New York needs is actually a larger map differential right now. You know, honestly, if we actually take a look, because we are in stage 4, at the playoff picture, it's almost, I think, it's almost impossible for New York not to make that #1 seed at this juncture.
Much, yeah. There's Arc subbing in for Animo. No surprise there. And it's Pine time. That's right. Coming in for Libero on Watch Point Gibraltar. No surprise, really, as we look at Gibraltar as being very much a Widowmaker map.
He's back from New York with his New York hat that I'm sure he picked up there. He forgot to take the sticker off, though. I hate it when people do that.
You can really get, yeah, I know what you mean. You always take your stickers off of those hats. I've never seen you wear a hat like that.
I wouldn't, but if I did, I would remove the sticker.
You just go through the store and take the stickers off. It's a horrible thing to do. I can't believe you do that.
You know, stickers are actually for the display and the authenticity, so you can just remove them once you get the hat, actually. I don't know if you guys know that. Just take the stickers off.
How old are you, like 60?
On the inside, yes.
There you go. He's an old soul, this Monte Cristo. That's right. Well, you know, we'll see if we can get you one of those hats.
Without the sticker.
You can wear it on the broadcast. Sticker? No, we're just going to cover it with stickers.
By the way, this is actually fun. If you guys are walking around, it is one of my favorite pastimes, actually, just to walk up to people and say, you forgot to take the sticker off your hat, and then watch their reaction. Because nobody actually reacts to that very well. It's incredibly entertaining. Also, your pants are falling off, another one of my favorite ones.
Yeah, but that could happen for any reason, really. You know? The less said about that, the better. Oasis, going the way of New York, and we are going to Watch Point Gibraltar. It's going to be our escort map. To finish things off here, even if Florida wins it, there's no tiebreaker. It would be a 2-1 victory for New York. Of course, they have won maps 1 and 3. Tie in Hanamura means that Florida just hoping to come away with a map win on this one.
And well, we will see, of course, Pine on this map. It is the dominant Widowmaker, or one of the dominant Widowmaker maps in this pool, so likely to continue to see Pine this stage, despite the change in a lot of these maps to be less Widowmaker friendly as a whole map pool that we see here in stage 4.
True enough. It would be fun to see Pine play Ana, but I don't think that's what we're going to see.
Well, we can hope. Again, for New York, as we were talking about earlier, the map differential is actually relatively irrelevant because they have such a titanic lead in that department right now that it's really just about the match wins. If they hit the magic number of 5, they are going to be the first place team in this league because Boston lost earlier today.
Well, New York came into this one plus 68 in map differential. The next closest team is London with plus 38, so there you go.
As of yesterday, there was a 156 map differential between the New York Excelsior and the Shanghai Dragons.
That's insane.
Fun fact.
That is craziness. Pine over on the Widowmaker, no surprise there. It's going to be the classic dive coming in from New York. This is not one of the maps that you would expect to see new comps with Brigitte. There's a lot of open space as the attacker to cover. And any map where there's a lot of verticality, you're probably not going to see the new hero too much.
No, you're not. And And again, with Sabiel being here instead of Libero, will be just the Tracer and the Widow. Pretty standard stuff.
Welcome.
Pine already.
Welcome to Pine time. Welcome to the Pine Forest.
The Pine Forest on Gibraltar.
That's right.
Certainly a Pine playground.
Oh, a playground for Tvik as well. Taking that Tracer v Widow duel works out well, but New York kind of crushing the rest of Florida in the meantime.
I mean, they got one kill, I guess.
Tvik, the last man standing. Before New York goes ahead and takes point A. We saw that stat that New York takes it usually in about a minute 38, which is extremely quick.
That's going to be faster this time, Doa, because there won't be another defense. 5-19 now. That was their average.
Yeah.
Cruising on through. 6 eliminations to 1 for that first fight in favor of New York. And Florida, I think, doing the smart thing and just taking control over that high ground. Here's where they'll try and dominate. Logic's set up. Sabiel will be here on the side. Arc will fall. That's a nice pick for the Mayhem.
Yeah, they kind of needed that to build a little bit of defensive momentum here. But now they've got Sabiel be in the ship with him, and oh boy, luckily, oh man, he went for the
wow, he got it.
Both. Oh, I am amazed that he lived there. Sabiel be. He would have just had to have a few more headshots there and he would have got it. But yeah, Mano just goes, he got mad. He wanted Sabiel to get that kill and he's like, what? He didn't get it? And it's time for the rage.
I mean, Manitin there with the defensive matrix also helping out quite a bit. Infrasight.
Oh. Ouch.
I can't even see a lot of the time these Widowmakers, these headshots that they're getting as they just poke out right over the edge. Infrasight obviously helping that, but knowing that he wasn't behind cover, that's the trick.
Yep.
And then...
Well, you're old, so that's why.
Yeah, it's all. I mean, my eyesight is going.
we knew this already. New York with a good amount of ultimates here to finish this one off, too. That's a nice headshot from Pine. And oh, there's Logic. He jumped. You never jump. You crouch. You don't jump. Got Zebasai as well. And New York kind of crushed them their way. Do the hanger face here on Gibraltar. Zupa down as well. Mano picks up another kill. Florida with only a few people left to try to defend this one. Self-destruct comes in. Manitin not getting back in that mech anytime soon. Not until he respawns anyway. Seemingly gets Tvik in the Tracer 1v1. Zebasai back with the Valkyrie, but he's really only got Awesome Guy in that Primal Rage to heal right now.
Awesome Guy gonna get pushed off, and Zebasai still there.
Oh, goodbye.
Floating out the doorway, making it back to the rest of his team.
Wow. He just kind of serenely flies away. It's like, nope, I'm done here. But he lived, so props to him.
Plenty of time for the NYXL here to push through to this final point. Pine once again with another Infrasight available to him. Mano is feeling angry. Tvik is feeling dead.
It's a radio to people that's feeling angry. Oh, Pine! It was a close range snipe. Oh, and Zebasai flies by. Pine takes a chunk out of him and Sabiel finishes him off. Pine up on the high ground now, and that's going to be New York just casually rolling their way through Florida.
I mean, this is a slaughter so far. It's 25-5 in terms of eliminations. New York has been hardly slowed down at any point in this map, and now it's the final shot here for the Mayhem.
That's right. Pine looking for some more shots. A pretty defensive spot right there. Doesn't get the kill into Logics. Now he's been found out. Back away a little bit.
What is he doing there?
I don't know. It doesn't matter, though, because Mano had him covered. I mean, it was really good. You saw Logics trying to go after him, but Mano just pops a Primal Rage. Knocks Logics away. Awesome Guy and Manitin both down. That's it. 347. That is one of the quickest attack rounds on Gibraltar I have ever seen.
And guess what, Toa? Not even an elimination on that final defense from the Florida Mayhem. 30-5 is the end of that run. Ooh. And we're gonna take a look here. Sabiel just gonna pick Tvik off at the end of the map. And you know, the hilarious thing about that was with Pine at the end, between both of the spawn doors, like you were saying, he did have Mano to cover him, and Mano had the Primal Rage, so there wasn't going to be anybody to get back there. But again, these are just Pine things. He is always in the place, it seems like, where you least expect the Widowmaker to be.
You normally don't see a Widowmaker there.
Sometimes those places are not good places for a Widowmaker to be, but he has the element of surprise.
Sure. I mean, if your team plays around you, you can be anywhere, really.
Yeah. Mekko and Sabiel end half of the map without any deaths at all.
That's crazy, man. 30-5 on Gibraltar. You just don't see that very often, or ever.
They were not slowed down at really any point in time.
No. Yeah. So Florida, well, it's going to be extremely hard for them to even come close to equalizing what New York's been able to do on the attack. Easily one of the quickest finishes on Gibraltar I've ever seen. in my time watching Overwatch?
That was actually the fastest. That was the fastest finish of any Gibraltar attack in Overwatch League to date. So
that does not
at least
surprise
in
me.
Overwatch League, it definitely was. Yeah, you don't see that every day.
Does not surprise me one bit. Fastest Gibraltar in OWL. What do you know? Or I'm sorry, Overwatch League. Some people don't like it when I call it OWL.
It's okay. Hoot hoot.
Hoot hoot. We have fun here at Overwatch League.
Over at the Owl.
Oh, yes.
We have a hooting good time.
The nest. The casting nest. Florida Mayhem on the attack. Vic is actually going to break with the Brigitte, it looks like. Okay, wow.
Don't expect to see that on this point because of the inability to challenge the high ground. We'll see if Florida Mayhem can make it work.
You can use Brigitte's shield to protect people from Widowmaker on the side, which is not often done. Pine, there is no protection. There's no protection from Pine. He's not Widowmaker, he's Pine. And you can't live versus Pine. This is how it goes.
He keeps peeking these corners, so they send Pine underneath onto the payload. End up with a couple of quick kills, 2K for Pine. As why wouldn't he be right here on your flank from above? But honestly, it's a pretty safe spot, and because of the Brigitte, he knows they're not going to be able to get back up there. Manitin already switching over.
True.
Because if he gets in the back and he kills the Widow, then all of a sudden there's nobody to challenge him.
Yeah. Well, they got the kill on the Mono here. So New York without their tank, and that's not a place that Arc can get in for a res either.
And so Florida Mayhem will be taking the high ground. Vic slowly building his way up to the rally.
Yep. Just flailing about. No pun intended. Oh, pun intended. I admit it.
He's literally flailing.
I know. That's why it was a pun, Monty Cristo.
I like your literalisms, Noah.
There you go. Doesn't everybody? Pine with the defect on the Manitin. Defect going in. Keeping everybody relatively healed up. Ah, but the pulse bomb onto Logix. There's one. Florida now without one of their DPS. Ebisai brings them back. New York with a lot of ultimates, though, to hold this. Florida push back again. 2 minutes about remaining here. Awesome guy creeping up towards the payload. But Mano just jumps down from behind here. Zupa taken out already. Save will be on the run, but he takes Ebisai in the way. That both supports out of commission. Manitin does get the kill onto Arc, though, with the self-destruct, but Florida sent packing already.
I mean, it's been over 2 minutes, Noah, and Florida Mayhem has only gotten 2 eliminations on their attack run so far. Mono and Arc. Otherwise, New York holding strong. Here comes the rally, though. This is going to be their best chance to make it through the end of A.
Yeah, and if you're new to this meta, you rally to give your team the extra armor, the extra 150 armor that doesn't go away, and then you start building towards your next ult in the fight that comes afterwards. So you're going to see that a lot.
And it's
Talked about it yesterday, but
yeah, it's going to be hard too without the Junkrat on the side of New York to really bust through this armor. 150 more on every single player on the team.
Jonak down early. Logix finds a crucial pick. Arc, though, with the res, as you often see. Still a lot of armor left over on Florida Mayhem as they try to push forward through the server room. Awesome guy on the payload, though. A little bit on his own. Going in now, Logix gets Pine. That's a big one. We know the res cooldown is down. Awesome guy gets the D-Mech on the Meko. So Florida finally coming in with a push that looks like they can use to finish off point A. Jonak eliminated. Arc eliminated as well, and that should be Florida finally taking point A. They'll get it. They only had about 24 seconds remaining on the clock when they did it, though, but they finish A.
And they end up with some decent armor left over after the attack, too.
Yeah.
As Zupe will take out Mono. So they're not going to have a chance, the New York Excelsior, to try and take that high ground as they wait for a tank respawn. So this is looking pretty good for Florida.
That extra armor on a character like Zenyatta, too, is really good because the shields recharge. And if the shields don't get burst all the way down, you keep all of that armor. So you can really kind of make that work.
They definitely can. They're going to try and re-engage now, though. Jonak already with a kill onto Logix. Sabi will be just trying to chip away this armor from the back line of the Mayhem, but Zupe and Zebasai still there.
Yeah. Still looking solid at the moment. New York, though, going in with the Primal Rage via Mono. Awesome guy, losing a lot of HP on that shield. Charges his way out of there, but he's so low, gets the heals just in time. But now Florida kind of bottled up a bit. Nice stun onto Mono. He has to dive away. Transcendence coming in now, and Pine finally gets a pick on the Logix. Widow v Widow going his way. Florida having to play it carefully. Mono jumps in. They're just trying to delay right now. They're just trying to use up time. And now the kills are coming in. Super awesome guy, both down. Mono escapes to safety. Now Pine firing away at Tvik. Oh, she's coming towards you. Look out. She's healing. There's a stun. Pine finally takes out Tvik, but it can be tricky to handle that Brigitte in those close-up situations.
Well, Tvik already with another rally too, just at the time that they finally get the armor off Zebasai and Zuppe and pick up the kills. New York is not playing an ideal composition into what the Florida Mayhem are throwing at them, but because of the verticality on Gibraltar, they're not being punished very hard. There's always a place for their more mobile tanks to escape to, or Pine to escape to on this Widowmaker. Rally coming in once again.
Yep, getting that extra armor up on Florida as they push in. 1:20 on the clock. They really need to do something here.
Well, they really want to take out Logix in this back line.
Yep, that's right.
BLB is sneaking on him right now. He's gonna creep, using the crouch walk. He doesn't know he's there, but Logix walking forward.
Yeah,
try and one clip him, doesn't get it.
Oh, the melee doesn't land. So he'll be tossed out the pulse bomb, doesn't get the kill. Jonak though finds Zebasai, so they do get something at least.
Herded him forward into Jonak's sights.
Yep, certainly helped out. All right, self-destruct coming in. Now Pine pops the infra sight, gets away, back to the safety of the ship. Tvik manages to pick off Mono with that whip shot in the end. Ooh, Jonak gets Logix though, so Florida's struggling a little bit. They still haven't really moved the payload much farther. So he'll be down, Tvik gets another one. Now Jonak going in with the Transcendence. It's going to be a Transcendence in response from Zuppe as well. And Florida trying to finish point B, trying their best to do that. They've got the Valkyrie out for Zebasai as well. Awesome guy with the Primal Rage. Scattering New York.
Rally once again for Tvik.
All right,
he got Savieldi and Mono earlier, so he's been building those ults very fast.
That was really close, but they didn't lose anyone to the self-destruct from Meko there. Florida nearly has it, 6 seconds to go. They've got to finish this push in overtime, it looks like.
They're going to come back right now, but Tvik taken out by Sabielby with the pulse bomb. New York still holding on by a thread.
New York, yeah, really making a good show this year. Manitin gets DMEC, and now New York, they've got the Transcendence. They can push in. We're into OT. Florida needs to win this fight decisively if they want to finish B.
Heinz back on the Doomfist right now, just switching it up to make it work, and Zebasai will hurl himself at the payload.
Yeah, that's
awesome
right.
Guy is the next one in line, but he can't get there. And New York.
They will take the 3-0 win over Florida Mayhem.
The one draw on Hanamura. Mayhem certainly keeping it interesting there at the end of Gibraltar, but it was going to be difficult to catch up with such a blistering attack round from the Excelsior.
Absolutely. So New York coming in, getting a win in their first match of Stage 4. Florida putting up a fight.
I think it does show, though, that Mayhem, their practice over the break really did do them a lot of good. Logix and Tvik on form tonight.
I would say so. Logix especially, I think, really impressed me in a lot of maps tonight. But as it stands, New York going to win the map anyway, or match anyway, rather, 3-0. We're going to take a break, guys, and when we come back, the desk will break down that series. It was a fun one between New York and Florida, but New York Excelsior coming out with the win. A lot of nice plays from Sabielby today and the other DPS, as we have come to expect. That'll do it for this one, guys. Desk gonna break it down, and then match number 3. Don't go anywhere. More Overwatch League coming up soon.
Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's fastest network ever. Omened by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League. And by Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League.
Welcome back. NYXL took this victory over the Florida Mayhem. Please give it up for New York and, of course, Jonak joining me here down on the floor. First of all, congratulations on that victory. Now let's talk about what we just saw. Considering that we're playing on a new patch, what did you guys expect to see from your opponents, the Florida Mayhem?
메이엠에서 사연 선수가 날 줄 알고 팀이 전체적으로 쫄아 있었는데 그 사연 선수가 안 나와서 뭔가 쉽게 잘 된 것 같아요.
So for today's match, we were actually expecting Saya player from Florida to come out, but that didn't happen, and I think that kind of helped us out today.
All right. Did that throw you off at all to not see him? Did you have to change your game plan?
작전은 바뀐 게 없고 그냥 쫄아 있었는데 쫀 게 다 사라진 것 같아요.
So we didn't actually have a change of plans in our strategies, but we were actually really afraid of Saya player, but that he wasn't here, so it just worked well.
All right. Well, Mayhem clearly put up a good fight. Were you at all surprised at how close this match was at some points?
하나무라 때는 뭔가 팀원 전체들이 살짝 잔실수들이 좀 많아가지고 무승부가 난 것 같아요.
So as for map 2, Hanamura map, there were little bits and pieces of mistakes that we made, all of our teammates, and I guess that's what led us to our tie, the draw.
All right. Well, still, you got that W, so congratulations again to you and your team. Now let's talk about the game over at the desk.
Thank you so much, Zoe. Give it up one more time for NYXL and Jonak, the bloodthirsty support. We just did the math, guys. They played 31 regular season matches, 28 victories, 90% match win rate. There's no stopping this team.
That's an impressive howl. But yes, there is no stopping this team.
Yeah.
That's a screech and howl. That's something.
They're a really powerful team, and they're clearly the #1 team at the moment. And it looked like Boston were the clear #2, but with Philadelphia beating them recently, maybe even more of a gap is going to form at stage 4. Because we were coming into this second half with questions. You know, what happens when they're playing into Brigitte? And all of our questions were answered. They look perfect with the Rhine Zarya comps as well.
Let's take a look back at some of the highlights here from the second half as we go to the control map. This is where we saw Florida really starting to bounce back in the second heat, but you looked at the first and the third, it was New York taking it to their opponent.
And it was Libero specifically on the far that was impressive here because he got so much room, and shockingly enough, look how both, first of all, play. That's beautiful, right? They both ignore each other. You've got Zarya bubbles on both Zaryas, but it's Libero that surprisingly does less damage on the far than Tvik, yet has a higher impact in pretty much every other category. So that to me tells me the coordination out of New York playing with the far is a lot better. The missiles don't go to waste.
Beautiful little block of the Earth Shatter there, and that allowed Florida Mayhem to get back in control of the point and actually win Garden. This was a nice little aggressive play at the end.
Right.
Florida Mayhem going much more coordinated in their aggression than we've seen from them in the past. And then Zuppa switches over to the Sombra and is able to clutch with this beautiful hack onto a Primal Raging Mano, and then another hack on Libero when he was in the air, and they're able to get it done. But when it went over to City Center, the NYXL again bring out the Rhine Zarya. We haven't seen Meko on Zarya since, I want to say mid-2016. No, it must have been late 2016, the last time we saw him play Zarya. And he still looks as good as ever. You know, a little quick brush up over the break, and he's right back to that peak form.
Can we start by pointing out here, Saya player did not get his 1v1 against Pine.
Exactly, and even New York expected it, right? Jonak was a little worried, but otherwise, when we looked at this matchup, they lost in Namura. I felt like Logix was giving Libero and Sapiobi a lot of trouble. Pine is the specialist Widow for New York Excel. Probably the best Widow, or definitely in contention in the league. And it just obliterates Logix. It wasn't close. It was ugly. It was 6-1 in the favor of Pine.
Logix isn't that bad himself.
I know, right?
Well. And that, I mean, if Saya Player is not going to turn up to the 1v1, then you still got to give the title to Pine. I think Pine gets the belt at the end of this.
I like
Or the no-show.
Exactly.
What if he never got the invitation?
No. That
the
was
coach may not have put him in.
I'm going to say Saya Player was in the dugout scared of taking that one. That's what happened there. He didn't want to go up against him.
Pine doing what Pine does best, and that's, of course, impressing our audience here. But New York continues to impress. For me, it was so hard to pick a player of the match. I wanted to give it to Mano. You guys love the
really
DPS, but it's time to make it official. Here is your player of the match, sponsored by Omen by HP. Who do you give it to, boys?
You're so close. It was almost Mano, but Libero, I think, came out huge, especially in the first couple of maps. The Junkrat was beautiful. The Hanzo, like Monty was mentioned, this guy is the original Hanzo,
He is,
right?
yeah.
Like, he would be the one to do
quick
it.
as
And
well,
of course,
actually. Yeah, and we saw them. We had this question mark going into the second half. You know, if Florida Mayhem play the Brigitte or NYXL in general are forced to go over to Ryan Zarya, something they very, very rarely have played over the course of the rest of the Overwatch League, what do these DPS guys play? And Libero just instantly took it in his stride. Pharah was destroying, Sabiobi goes over to the Widow or the McCree, and they look like they've got a really good handle on this metagame.
Crumbs, we now have seen one match from the New York XL here in Stage 4. They went up against Ford, who is much lower on the standings. Are they still the best team in the league? I know we haven't seen everybody yet here in Stage 4.
We haven't seen everybody yet, but absolutely. Just because you have individual members in key roles that are taking a lot of shift right now, that New York will shine through. You've got Libero, that is a sick flex DPS, and then Mano on the main tank, both Winston and Reinhardt. You never really have to change them out. I think this team is still on top.
Living up to the hype, that is your New York XL. They're going to take the second match of the day. When we come back, though, it's the best match of the day. I'll just go ahead and say it. It is the rivalry Houston versus London again. Can Houston make it 4-0? We'll find out after this.